Hey, everybody. It's that time again. February 13th, Friday the 13th. Isn't that crazy? Day before Valentine's Day. So I am Patricia Gates with Purely Gates Embroidering. Welcome to Behind the Shine. This is our live platform for new collection releases, embroidery hints and tips, projects, ideas, and samples. So we're going to learn something today. All right. So Tom likes me to mention you want to, we'd like you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube and all that fun stuff so that you don't miss out on information like this. Wait for the little slide there. Okay. If you have been with us before, we always give a free design and a special offer, and all of that is shown to you at the end of the show. And if you are commenting, which I see a bunch of people already here with us, so thank you for that. If you comment, and you are automatically entered for the live drawing. And if you put a question mark after any question you have that we have, it's easier for us to find this question so we can hopefully get all your questions answered. So that's all the administrative work for that. Let's talk about today. February is National Embroidery Month. So you know what that means. We get to embroider all month. No laundry, no dishes, no dinner time, no cooking, none of that. And it's not like we did that anyway, but hey, it's National Embroidery Month. Yay! All right, so what I thought would be great is if we did something for ourselves, a t-shirt. So a lot of people have that fear of embroidering a t-shirt. So that's what we're going to tackle today. I'm going to give you the steps that I use to get t-shirts done. You don't have to have a multi-needle machine to do this. Every time I do a sample, and y'all see it, and I'm wearing it, I'm using a single needle flatbed machine. So it's nice to have a multi-needle machine, but not everybody can handle getting that and having that big old monster in their room, unless you're doing, a lot of stuff or you're doing a business kind of thing. So we're going to do a t-shirt on a flatbed single needle machine. And even if you're comfortable doing t-shirts, you may pick up on some tips to make it even easier for you. Again, this is the method, the steps that I go through to do t-shirts. All right, so I've got my little list here so I don't forget anything. First of all, I'm going to show you the things that I like to use when I'm doing t-shirts. So sort of a supply list kind of thing. So obviously a t-shirt. Marking tools, I like to use, little visuals here. We got our t-shirt. Marking tools. So if I'm using a light colored t-shirt, I'm using a water soluble marking tool, pen. If it's dark, I like using a chalk liner. All right. We have a ruler because we want it to be straight. Rotary cutter or scissors for cutting your stabilizers. Speaking of stabilizers, I like using Hydro Stick Tearaway. You see there's kind of a sheen on this. A Hydro Stick Tearaway is a stabilizer that has a water activated adhesive on it. Hydro does not mean it goes away with water. It just means it has that water activated adhesive on it. Okay. I also supplement by floating, and you'll see a medium weight tearaway underneath as well. A printed template of your design. I live and die by my templates. And what I like to use, so there's an example of two templates. They have the crosshairs on them. And I'm going to ask Tom real quick. There's something covering the screen to the my left. There you go. Thank you. So I can see. All right. What I use for my templates is print and stick target paper. What's nice about this is you're just going to run it through your inkjet printer. It has a paper on the back. And when you remove that, which I know is going to be fun on camera, let me score it. Well, when you score it, it comes off really easily, except for when you're in a pinch here. This is the beauty of live, people. Okay, well, anyway, It's, I'll get that off air in a little bit. It is clear and it has a tacky side to it. So when you're placing it, you can try different areas and peel and remove and that kind of thing. And they're also reusable. So if you're doing more than one thing, you can save them and use that again. So a template using the peel and stick Target paper. I like using, so because our water activated adhesive on our stabilizer, I use a spray bottle. Obviously you want your hoop, the size for your design. And if you have seen any of my other stuff, I live and die by my hoop grid. Okay. If you have one of these and you don't know what to do with them, we're going to be using it today. So find it. Most times when your machine comes with your hoops, you're going to see that there's a hoop grid in there. So you may be using it for the first time, but I love my hoop grids. All right, let's see. All right, I want to go back to the t-shirt because this is really important. Again, that screen's over the left again, Tom. All right. I think one of the most important things is getting a quality t-shirt. You don't want one where you can read the newspaper through it, okay? You want that to be a nice, thick, hefty t-shirt because it's got to hold all those stitches, right? So a quality t-shirt is the important thing. You want to iron out the wrinkles, the folds if it's brand new, that kind of thing. If you wanted to just play with doing your first t-shirt, if you're still apprehensive after this, then find one that you've got that you know you're willing to go with it, or go to Goodwill and get something that you're willing to sacrifice in case something horrible goes wrong. But again, anytime something horrible happens, that's a learning opportunity, right? You're going to learn how to either recover from it or avoid it next time because you're going to remember it happening, right? Okay, so when doing t-shirts, so we're going to mark placement of where we want this design to be. We want it to be we want it to end up where we want it to be and not where it just happens to end up. All right. Hang on. So we're going to prep the garment, and that's ironing it and doing the folds. And then we're going to go to the next screen, Tom. Okay, we're going to mark placement. So marking placement, a lot of times, because I've done a lot of t-shirts, I know about where on a shirt I like to wear it. The best way to find out is actually put the shirt on, and you can use your template to place it on there. Say you're doing something that you wanted to do maybe a shoulder placement, like I've done on this one. That's where that template comes in handy. But if you're doing a simple design, right, bold right there in the center, which is what I like to do a lot, is we're going to draw lines to place that. That's the simplest one. But because you've got your templates, they do have the lines on them that's going to allow you to mark your garment and get it exactly where you want it again, not where it happens to end up. All right, so let's, we're going to mark this. We're going to go with overhead camera here. Like I said, I have found where I always like to have my designs placed. And this is a line you're going to draw no matter what, okay? We're going to find the center of this t-shirt. Don't ever rely on that tag that's on here. Those are never in the center, okay? They're never in the center, and you'll regret relying on it. So I take a ruler and I go armpit to armpit, okay? And I'll draw my line. I guess I could use either marking tool on this one, it would show up, but I've got my chalk right here. Now, the distance from here to here is 19 inches, so half of that is 9.5. So I'm going to mark that. And then I'm going to take my ruler. Y'all can see that. I'm going to take my ruler, and I'm going to lay it on the mark I just drew. And I'm going to make sure that ruler is perfectly aligned on one of the lines right here, okay? And then I'm going to draw my, in fact, you know what? Let's see if these show better. I'm going to draw my vertical line there. Now, it's really important that you get these lines perpendicular to each other, or it will drive you absolutely crazy. Because I was doing this the other day, and it's like, why is this not working for me? My lines weren't perpendicular. Because we're going to be using that hoop grid, and those lines on the hoop grid are perfect. All right. Wow, that didn't make much of a difference. Okay. All right. Now, so that is just an example. I'm going to move this up closer. Do you see those lines drawn on there? We have that vertical and the horizontal line. That's where I'm going to line up on my shirt. And that's where my design is going to end up. Again, that's where I like my stuff to stitch. Now, say you wanted it higher, okay? Is there any way to zoom in just a little bit, Tom? Move this down. Okay, say I wanted it to be higher, all right? The beauty of having drawn this line already, again, I want it to be like this. I don't want it to be, you know, especially if it's words. You don't want it reading down the side, unless you like that. I'm going to use this line right here, and I'm going to put my ruler on it, and I want my design to be about here. I'm going to put it crooked on purpose here. I'm going to lay my ruler on one of the lines of the ruler on the lines I've already drawn. And then I'm going to look at, you'll see that line right there. I'm going to align it with my ruler and line it with my center line. And now I know it's going to be straight on the garment. This is my baseline. Okay, you can either use it to put your design there, or you can use it to make sure that your design is straight on the garment. And then once we have it, that again, if you're not using that line as alignment, but you're using it to make sure it's straight, I'm going to put my ruler on that line, remove it, and then draw the line there. And because I'm going to have two lines on here, you can see where my fingernail did that. What I like to do is, so I don't get confused, a lot of times when you're doing this, you may be doing bits and pieces and coming back to it. I will draw a circle around that area and saying, this is my target space. Okay. All right. But for now, we're going with this one right here. All right. I want to make these lines a little darker so we can see them. At least to where you can see center. I didn't use a white t-shirt because it would be white on a white table, and sometimes it's really hard to see. Wow, that ain't helping at all. Sorry about that noise. Yeah, we're getting somewhere. Now, when you are getting ready to put your stabilizer on, you're putting it on the back of the garment, back of the front of the garment, back of the front of the garment. Yeah. All right. You want to make sure whenever you are hooping that you are fully hooping your piece of stabilizer and that you're hooping the right direction. So I'm going to pull this one in here real quick. Say I was doing this design right here. Okay. Let me open this up. So if you see the difference between these two designs, this one is vertical, this one is horizontal. Okay, so if I just place my stabilizer on the shirt and I'm just used to putting it vertically, I'm good to go on this one. But again, we're going to come back to this one. So I'm going to do the sewing machine, and say I put the stabilizer right here. What's going to happen? I have no stabilizer right here. So you first of all want to be aware, if you've got a rectangular hoop 5x7 versus like the 8x8 that I'm going to show you later. You want to be aware of the orientation of the design that you're embroidering on. And with your templates, what I like to do before I do any hooping, inevitably I will do the most perfect hooping of my life and I will have it in the wrong orientation. Open up that design on your embroidery machine first. See how it shows up on the screen of the machine. Mine shows up like this, okay? Because it's 5x7, it rotates it automatically for me. I like to mark the template as to which direction it's up on my machine, and I put those arrows up there. And I know that when I put the hoop on my machine, here's where my machine attaches, okay? It's going to be like this. So if I put it like this, I'm going to be wearing an upside down garment, but because this is up on my hoop, because this is where it attaches to the machine, I want to make sure my up arrow is marked there. Again, it's all in the prep. If you can get all of these pieces right, then you're going to be good to go. So that's an important thing, knowing which way or orientation, vertical or horizontal, your design's going to go, so that when you do put your stabilizer on, you're going to be putting it on in the right direction. So I'm going to show an example because I'm trying to show how we can put or embroider a t-shirt that's got a large hoop on it and get that on a machine and still have success. So that's why I'm going to be demoing here an 8x8 hoop. Now, we have an opaque shirt here, and we've already marked it for our placement. I'm going to turn this shirt wrong side out, but I can't see my markings because they're on the outside of the shirt. So this is what I do. I'll take a sewing pin, and I'm going to put a pin in the center, and I'm going to poke it straight through the shirt to the back. Y'all let me know if you can't hear anything I'm saying, making sure the sound is good. Okay. So here I can see the pin. I'm going to take that marking tool again, and I'm just going to do a little X where that pokes through the fabric. Okay, so I've got an X mark on there. Again, I probably shouldn't have picked a blue shirt. All right, so I'm going to turn this shirt wrong side out. Lay it flat on the table. Right here. That's my mark. Again, the reason I'm doing this is I want to place the stabilizer where I know that it's going to fully fill the hoop. All right. Then I'm going to take my hoop. This is an 8x8, it's square, even though this looks like it's rectangular. And I am going to put my grid on it. And I've centered the grid with the mark on the fabric. Now what I'm noticing here is my stabilizer needs to go out into the neck hole of this shirt in order for it to fully fill the hoop. And that's what this exercise is telling me. Again, I want to put the stabilizer on where I need it to be in order to have the success that I'm looking for. All right. So now we're finally going to get to the stabilizer, putting the stabilizer on. This is my hydro stick stabilizer. Now, because I know this is going to be the center of my stabilizer, I will simply fold my stabilizer shiny side out in 4s. Just a little crease there. Okay, so you can see my creases there. Then I'm going to wet it. I like it wet. All right, let me get my sticky off my hands here. Now, because I have folded this in fours, I am going to, I can see the creases there. I'm going to line it up with, there's my mark. And now I know my stabilizer is going to fully fill that hoop. Okay, get it all up in there. You can see the collar right here, the shoulders. Now, while the stabilizer is, drying a little bit, because wet glue doesn't stick, you can go pick your threads and get all that set up and ready. It's just a couple of minutes. It's not like a forever, okay? I like that wet to permeate, so to speak, the shirt. Now, we're going to turn this right side out. Now, we don't want to mangle this stabilizer we just got on here so nice and flat. So what I do, I'm going to try to get this where we can see it, is I will put my hands up in the shirt, okay? And I'm going to run them up to the shoulder areas. And I'm going to grab that stabilizer. And Tom, if you go full on me now, and grabbing it, you're just going to pop it. And see how nice and flat it is? All right, you can go back overhead, please. Now, if you can see it, you can see some of my water coming through there. That's fine. It's good. It is becoming one with the stabilizer, which is what you want. All right, now, after all of that, we're finally ready to hoop. So what I'm going to do is I am going to line up my hoop grid in the inner hoop with the lines I drew on the stabilizer, the shirt, excuse me. All right. So this is where my design is going to end up. Now, how do I get it into the hoop in that same position? Let's zoom out a little bit on the overhead, please. A little more. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to take that outer hoop, or the part that attaches to the machine, and I'm going to open that puppy up. You don't want to lose a screw over here, but just open that up. I'm going to fold up the shirt tail. And I'm going to take that hoop, and I'm going to, I stand when I do my hooping so I can look straight down into that hoop. Let's see, I've already moved it. There. I'm going to slide this straight underneath. Now, because I put the stabilizer on here, it's added some rigidity to the shirt, which is good. Because you have one of two ways you can do this. You can either run your hands through the sleeves and hold. So you want to pick this up? It all comes at the same time. I'm going to hold that hoop, and I'm going to hold it on the lines that I drew. And then I'm going to fit it into the lower hoop, or the outer hoop, excuse me. The other way you can do it is by coming in the shirt tail and the neckline, okay? I'm used to doing it this way, but you've got a choice. It really depends on what hoop you're using. Is it rectangular? Is it bigger? That kind of thing. But you're going to find the way that you like using it. So here I can hold my hoop with a hoop grid in it, making sure it's over those lines that I drew. And if I need to adjust it, I can move my thumbs and move that. And then I'm going to push it down. Again, I opened it up really big, okay? So it's not fighting me. And then push it down. Now I'm off a little bit down here. So what I'm going to do, actually, you know, if it's off in one place, it's off in another. I'm going to pop that back out. I'm going to move my hoop where it should be. And press it down. And then you're going to tighten that screw. The more times you do this, the easier it's going to get. I've said in some of my other videos, you know, hooping is important, and don't see it as a, oh dear God, I've got to hoop this and it's got to be right. Every time you do it is practice. Okay, so the more you hoop, the better you're going to get at it. Again, all in the prep to get it where you want it to be. All right, let me see where we're going with this. All right, we are ready to put this thing on the machine. So let me show you while we're still right here. You can't obviously slide it on the machine like this because you'd be sewing the back to the front and having to, you know, cut the hoop off. So what I do, I have folded this up like this. Now I'm going to take this and I'm basically turning the shirt inside out again. So I'm bringing that back up over the neckline. And then I'm going to tunnel down. Keep folding it. Here, I need to fold it out away. Okay, and you can see the reason I am using this larger hoop for this demo. You're like, well, dear Lord, how am I going to embroider with all that going on? I'm going to embroider the back to the front kind of thing. Well, I'm going to show you how. All right, so you basically got it folded, tunnel it down to the area. I always also like to pull my sleeves out because you don't need to be sewing that sleeve to the front of the shirt either. Okay. Now I'm going to show you how I put it on the hoop. Put the hoop on the machine now that I've tunneled it down. Okay, Tom. So we're going to go over to the machine and show how this goes on the hoop. So as you're sliding it on, you just got to flatten it enough to go underneath that needle. You want to get it hooked on the left side there, and then you're going to get that pushed up and out of the way. I'm clearing the area, making sure that some of the shirt is not up underneath that hoop. Now, when we're doing our embroidery, we're obviously going to have to move the shirt out of the way as we're going. But what we want to do before we even do our first stitches, we want to make sure, again, we want to check alignment. All of this is in preparation to doing our stitches and getting our embroidery where we want it to be. So what I do to check alignment, there's actually several ways you can do this, and it depends upon the features on your machine. So you can check your manual on this. Some people have a camera on their machine. You can check it that way. Some people have a projector that projects down into the hoop. You can use it that way. Or I think the most common one is the one that I've used here, and I'm going to show you how to use it, is that button in the center, and it is called a needle positioning button. So you can look to see if your machine has one of those. So this is really valuable. So once you press that button, we're going to show you a little video here. It's going to show you the screen that comes up from that, and then how to use it. And I'll talk you through that. All right. So on the right-hand side, I press the up, like needle center position, and the machine moves to that. And I'm checking to make sure that needle goes straight in the fabric, straight in the line I drew. And I'm checking each position. So we'll call that east right there. Now press west, needle down, and then south there, needle down. So if my needle goes in the lines that I've drawn, I'm good to go. If it did not, then we're going to have to make some adjustments. And what I will do, if you've got a design that maxes out that hoop, you don't have a lot of wiggle room in there to use your directional arrows to move it. You may have to unhoop again. Again, more practice in hooping if that's what you have to do. But again, ensuring that design ends up where you want it to be, not where it just ends up. Okay. This is an exercise if you were doing where literally anything, jackets, that kind of thing, and you were doing multiple designs on there and laying them out, and you had your different templates that you're using. You know, this one might, where your crosshairs come at an angle, you're always ensuring that that design is going to be where you want it to end up. Now, we're getting close. We're getting close. Okay, now we know it's lined up and it's ready to go. So how are we going to deal with all of this bulk that's sitting in our hoop area? I do one last thing before I go. To eliminate complete panic, inevitably, when you need to stop the machine, you can't find the button, right? Oh God, you know. So one thing that I do is I'm completely ready to go. I'm ready to press the start button. But before I press the start button, I advance my design by 1 stitch. And I'm going to show you what button that is. Hopefully you've got a similar looking button, and it is the one that's got a needle. I'm pointing to it there. You have a screen, and I hit +1, and my machine moved over to the first stitch. Now, had I just pressed start and had gone over there, well, now I'm stitching that shirt to the tail of the shirt to the front area. But by advancing it by 1, that eliminates the complete panic because the machine advances and stops. Doesn't do any stitching. That enables me to move that shirt out of the way. Now I'm going to show you a video I took of a complete embroidered design on a shirt. So we've sped it up so it doesn't bore you to death, but you're going to see the shifting that I do of that, we'll call it the shirt tail, out of the way. And what I'm doing is I'm revealing each portion of the hoop where it's going to be stitching. Okay, you're going to see other portions of that hoop covered. I started videoing this after I thought it was a great idea when I started stitching this design. So you can see I just have it puddled around the hoop with the area that's going to be embroidered revealed. And as it goes, I'm going to be shifting this shirt. Now, if it gets a little close, or you do, sometimes I just sit there and daydream and I forget what I'm doing. You can stop the machine and do a little shifting. But this is what I'm doing. I'm just pushing that out of the way. Now, in areas like this, we're obviously spelling a word here. You kind of know that it's going left to right. But you can't always, you know, I know because I've digitized it, but know where it's going to go next. So when you are doing between color changes, there's two different ways the machines will react. Some brands of machines will stop at the end of a color change in that same area. And then when you start the new color change, it will advance. Other machines, when it finishes a color change area, it will advance to the next area and stop. So in other words, it moves to that new color change at the end of the previous color change. All right. So if you have a machine that when it completes a color change and then moves to the next one and waits for you, what you'll want to do is, I'm watching where this goes. What you'll want to do is Go ahead and stop the machine when you see it's coming to the end of an area, and then you can advance it to that next area. Make sure it's going to, your shirt is not going to overlap in those areas. So actually both ways, you know, if you want to advance to the next stitch for the color change, then it's just a safe way to ensure that it will go to that area, but not continue to stitch. Okay. Hope that makes sense. And always remember where that start stop button is. And you're going to have it lop over in areas. Now, again, you know, we're Mylar embroidery. So here I'm getting ready to lay down my Mylar right after this color change. Actually, 2 more of them. And if you're not familiar with our Mylar embroidery, please go to the website to our Getting Started page, and you can see how the whole process works. It is by color change chart that tells you when to lay down the Mylar and when to tear away the excess. We had a behind the shine that I showed you the ways that I like to go through doing a Mylar embroidery design. And one of them, I discussed how when it's time to remove the Mylar, and say it's not at the end of the design, but it's time to remove the Mylar, you can do a general removal. You can pull the Mylar, tear it away around the areas intended for Mylar, but you don't have to do all that detailed cleaning. You can do that later. And that's kind of what I do on this one. So right now it's doing a tack down stitch of that Mylar that I just laid on there. And then it's going to continue when I change my threads here. If only it stitched this quickly, right? It's going to continue through the rest of the color changes. Now, what I didn't mention is I did slide that medium weight tearaway underneath the hoop. I supplemented with the medium weight tearaway, even though we already have the Hydro Stick tearaway on there. I just like that extra stability. Something about the Hydro Stick, nothing wrong with it, but in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I've wet this Hydro Stick. Have I just ruined the integrity of the stabilization of that? So that's why I supplement with that medium weight tearaway underneath. All right, so the battery died on the camera. So we picked up where we left off here. I did a general tear of the Mylar, and now it's doing the final color change. I just pulled it where it wouldn't interfere. And you can see that there were still pieces in there. I've cleaned off the Mylar, and here it is in the hoop. You can see how nice and flat that is. I popped it out of the hoop, still nice and flat. You can see my marking there and make sure I get it where I want it. And then the Hydro Stick tearaway, there's some really great things about it and why I absolutely love it, and I'll die if they stop making it, is a Hydro Stick tearaway will not gum up the needle of your machine, and it sticks like cement, which is what you want on a stretchy item or a hoopless item. And yes, I saw someone had asked, do I ever float a t-shirt? I'm a firm believer that if you can hoop it, do hoop it, because you're going for the best results. But yes, you can do that the same way. You're still going to have to tunnel down and to reveal the areas when it's embroidering. You can do that way. So I like it because it sticks like cement. It's not moving, and it doesn't come off your needle. Now, how do we get this off if it sticks like cement? I throw it in the washing machine. I've unhooped it. I have taken off the medium weight tearaway. And what's left on there is the Hydro Stick tearaway. I throw it in the washing machine. All I'm doing with that step is I'm rinsing out that adhesive. It's not gummy. It's not gross. You can even do laundry with it. You're just wetting that area, okay? So once the load is done and I pull my shirt out of the washing machine, then you're going to see here, this is what it looks like. So this is a wet shirt, and what's dangling off of the back of that embroidery is that Hydro Stick tearaway. I like to tear it away while it's still wet. You can do it another time, but when I'm tearing it away, I'm holding my stitches in some of those running stitch areas to make sure I'm not pulling any stitches when I remove that. So once I have it finally removed, you'll put it on the hanger. You can throw it in the dryer if you want to. I usually don't throw things that, especially new ones that I've just embroidered in the dryer. I want the longevity of the garment. It has nothing to do with the mylar embroidery. I don't want a shirt to start pilling. I don't want it to start fading. And heaven help me, I don't want it to shrink. Okay. So I usually hang mine dry. So here's what the shirt looks like. I've removed the stabilizer and it's dry. Okay. So you can see it's right out of the wash. You can see the wrinkles from the shirt, but there's no puckering. Okay. Now, what do? I go to the iron and I've ironed it, and you can see how nice that looks. So it's all in the prep, getting it where you want it to be, and you want it to be a nice, professional looking design on your shirt. So we are going to, well, we're all done. You're ready to wear it, right? So we're going to go to questions and do some answers, some Q&A for you. But first, I know one of the questions is going to be where do I get that design that you just embroidered? What collection is it in? Well, it is actually going to be the free design that we're giving y'all. And here I have it on black. I can't get here we go. So there it is right there. I've changed the colors. There it is. There we go. I've changed the colors. You're getting it in 2 sizes. So what I'm wearing is the 8x8. You're getting it in 5x7. So here is the white shirt that you saw embroidering. And I did the Superpower in red. And embroidery in gold. So you can see the difference. So it can look completely different depending upon what color shirt you embroider that on and what colors that you choose to put on. I don't know if you can see the sparkle. Let's do an overhead real quick, Tom. It's upside down. So you can see how cool that is. The thread spools and Superpower is what is sparkling right there. So this is National Embroidery Month. You're going to do a shirt for yourself. You have a design to do now that's specifically for you because embroidery is your superpower. You can, depending on what size shirt you're doing or what you want to put it on, if it's something other than a shirt, you are getting it in 2 sizes, 5x7 and 8x8. So we're going to show you where to find that free design a little bit later. So let's answer some questions. All right, let's cover those. And I wanted to, I personally felt like I had a rough start on the beginning of this one. Tom and I are dealing with, I'm almost done with mine, but we brought home a cold from Arizona. So he's leaving the room periodically to cough. So y'all don't hear that. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. It was a little rough going on, and sorry for that. I'm hoping y'all got the information you want. Now, while Tom is fishing through some questions there, what I want to say is I know this video goes away in a couple of days. And like, what do I do when I'm ready to do my shirt? If you go to my website under videos, there is a video called Embroidering on Garments. And at the timestamp of about 5 minutes, 39 seconds, you're going to see I'm starting to do a t-shirt. And I'm talking about orientation of the design, templates, stabilizer, hooping, all of that in single slides so that you can walk through that as you're ready to do this shirt, which you're going to do. And I expect to see some of you coming to our booth in the future shows wearing your shirt. Now, we've had some really nice comments and met a lot of people in the booth so far this year that have been with us on the Behind the Shine. So we always really appreciate that and talking about that when y'all come in and visit. So y'all are going to be wearing shirts, show me some different colorways because I would love to see what people are doing with it. So come in the booth wearing your shirt and we'll just have a little party. All right, let's see. What do you do if your hoops didn't come with the grid sheets? You can go to the dealer and purchase them. I find them really helpful. Let me see. I've never had to not have a hoop grid. My latest machine that I have, and I don't know whose bright idea that was, of all I have a particular brand that I've been using throughout the years, and it's always come with a hoop grid. Well, now this one didn't come with a hoop grid, so I went to the dealer and I ordered one. That's how much strongly I believe with the hoop grid. Now, if you're doing a free form kind of thing on your shirt, you know, you don't have to be quite as precise, but I like doing that, especially if you're going to be doing some words and they're going to be straight across, or you know, you've got two designs that are very intertwined and you don't want to over embroider on another one. That's where the hoop grid really comes in to get that precise placement. All right, how do you print the design onto the print and stick paper? You put the print and stick paper in your inkjet printer. One side is shiny. You know, I'm going to start picking at this while we're talking. One side is shiny. Got it. Okay, one side is shiny and the other has a release paper on it, okay? So it's printing on the shiny side. And then when I peel that, I can stick it wherever I want. It's tacky for a long time, so you can play with it and put it wherever you want it to be. This is one of those things, and you'll see this in my garment video, that you can plan your garment and see what it looks like before you've done your first stitch, and that's where these are helpful. If I were to put something else with this one, and I know this wouldn't be it, but I wanted it to be like really close. That's what's nice about this, the transparency of the outer areas of the printed design. So inkjet printer, and then again, if I want to use it again, I can put it back on that and save it for another time.
I think there might be a question about the software. How do you do it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Tom, just thank you. Another view reading it differently. How do you print the design onto the print stick paper? All right. If you have embroidery software on your computer, you have the ability to print a design in 100% view or actual view with the crosshairs on it. If you do not, I can tell you where to go for free software that will do that. Now, on the print and stick package, free software, and it is not focusing, it's focusing on my face. Anyway, it's free software to print your own templates, and it's through Dime Designs and Machine Embroidery, and it enables you to print off as download a software that is free that enables you to print out a template of your design, 100% view with your crosshairs already printed on there. When you open our designs in software, we actually, if someone, you know, had an issue with the design, it didn't stop for the Mylar, and we usually say, okay, you opened it in software and resaved it over it, and that's what you were stitching. If you open it in software to print a template, don't oversave your format. So say PES, you open up the software and you save it again as PES to drag to the USB stick. Now you're dealing with second generation. Your software that you use is doing some lovely things to it, you know, for your convenience, that alters the design. So if you use software to print, just use it to print. Don't oversave. There's nothing to oversave. When you do machine embroidery, the beauty of this, I don't care if you've got a PC or a Mac, you're using that PC or Mac to store your designs. Okay, you don't have to have any embroidery software at all, but it is nice for times when printing the templates. So he's left the room again, which messed up my train of thought. The reason you don't need software on your computer or PC is you're using those to store your designs. Now, when you save it from a CD or you have it downloaded, it ends up on that computer, and then you're just dragging it to your USB stick, no software needed. That's what we want you to do. Open it up the software and print out your template, but don't use the software to save to your USB stick. Over the years, again, we're in our 20th year this year, we've seen it all happen. So if you want to use the design the way we gave it to you, then either bring it directly from where you did your download, onto the computer, or when you can go back to the CD and download it again to the computer. And I want to reiterate again, last month was, a whole New Year's kind of thing. Back up your designs. That's your New Year's resolution. Back up the designs either to a little hard drive. I have a little terabyte hard drive that really has all of my business stuff on it. And then I also back up by taking it up to the cloud. So back up those designs. I know that was not part of the question, but software. And we're providing you with a way of getting free software right here. Okay. Where do you get the Hydro Stick? Well, conveniently from us. And it's actually going to be part of our special today. So I'm going to show you that here in a minute. Did you wet the water? Oh, it's water. It's water. No spray starch. Yeah. I used to early on, spray starch my shirts and that kind of thing. Nah, don't need to. Just iron it, make sure it's flat. Once you get it, the Hydro Stick on there, you saw how nice and flat that was. This is just water in one of those wonderful misting bottles. You can also, if you want to, use a foam paintbrush. Get that wet and then just kind of paint the water on there. Super easy. Tom's looking for another question for me. Did you float another layer of tearaway stabilizer? Yes, I did, and I forgot to tell you about that at the time. I told you a little bit later, but the beauty of floating, if y'all aren't familiar with it, if you're a newbie, floating just means you are sliding a piece of tearaway or floating another stabilizer underneath the hoop. So it's between the hoop and the bed of the machine. When you float a stabilizer, you only need to cut it larger than the design that you're stitching. So you don't have to hoop this piece because you've already fully hooped another piece of stabilizer. So that's what I did. And when I was through with the embroidery, this is the piece I tore away off the back of the design. And then I threw the shirt with a Hydro Stick on it still in the washing machine. If someone's left a tissue in a pocket and it goes through the wash and everything is wearing that tissue now, that's the kind of thing that's going to happen with this. So this is why I went ahead and tore this away before I went in, threw the rest of it in the washing machine. Same with the dryer too. So you want to tear that away first. Why don't you use clips to hold the shirt out of the way versus moving the shirt little by little? You're going to find, let's go overhead again a little bit, Tom. If I am using clips, yeah, let's move my notes. If I was using clips, right here, I really have to pull this shirt, okay, for these clips. And inevitably, I pull it one way and then it's going to fold in the other way. That's why I don't use clips. Because the shirt really isn't big enough to completely get out of the way without really doing this. And I don't want to do anything to disturb having my shirt pop out of the hoop mid-design. Okay, and that's why I don't use clips. You saw in the speed up that, at each color change or where it was going in the areas, I was just moving that area out of the way. Now, it's okay that this is here because I'm embroidering over here. And then it'll go over here and I'll just move and reveal. And that's, if you have success with your clips, then use it. But that's why I don't use clips. All right. I'm told to always use a cutaway stabilizer on anything that will be worn. Many sites say tearaway, which is best and why. I'll tell you again, everything I showed you here is what I have success with and what I use. Two things on cutaway, excuse me. On a cutaway, you're going to see the outline of that cutaway behind it. And and I've done this, which is why I don't use cutaway anymore. If you try to cut it closely around the design so that you don't kind of see that barrier, I always cut the shirt. I'm going to get real good. No matter how I cut here, I end up cutting the shirt, or I end up cutting some stitches in the design, just trying to get it close. The tearaway is still underneath the design. Okay, so it's still staying there, providing the stability. This shirt here, This is from our Swirly Sewing. I have worn this shirt 9 million times. It has been washed 1,000,000 times. You can see, we'll go overhead for a minute here. Let me turn it right side up. You can still see, gosh, when did I do this? 2009, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, and here we'll look at the back of it. And you can still see in some of those areas that tearaway is still there. It didn't wash away. It's still there, providing stability. And this is not itchy. It's not itchy at all. Now, again, if you're doing something for a child, they may have irritability issues. But yeah, I think you end up finding the stabilizers that work for you and you like using. Of the 25 different stabilizers out there, I've culled mine down to 4 that I use in different situations. So the only cutaway that I use is a no-show fusible mesh cutaway that I put behind my cotton fabric. But I don't use a cutaway. Any stretchy things, shirts, sweaters. I've done a sweater that has turned out really nice using the Hydro Stick tearaway. Now, Hydro Stick does come in a cutaway. I don't carry that. I carry the Hydro Stick tearaway. So again, want to have the stability. Okay. Is the stabilizer scratchy against your skin at all? I don't have an issue with this. I probably tore it away as well as I did on the white shirt. So I'll show you the back of that one. Here we go overhead again on this. And being white on white, it's going to be a little difficult to see. Overhead. All right. There's still stabilizer. See right there around all of these? I'm not feeling any of that. Okay. This is the same design, just a white shirt. So it doesn't bother me. It may bother someone with a, I don't know what the right word is, texture. I don't know, issue with textures, that kind of thing. If you do have that situation, you can either take a soft interfacing, like a fusy knit kind of thing, and iron it to the back of it. But after several washes, you're going to have to re-iron that back on. But I don't, I'm not walking around scratching myself because I'm itching. Is the shirt you use today 100% cotton? It is. It is. Another reason I don't throw it in the dryer, because I'll never be able to wear it again. Yes, 100% cotton. I don't pre-wash. Again, when I bought the shirt, I've tried it on, and I don't want to come home and find it tighter, right? And then if you get, so I'll go a size larger and then wash it. It usually doesn't shrink down to the next size. When you wash warm or cold, I wash in cold only because, again, don't want it to shrink. Wash cold and I hang it dry. Will you have the Hydro Stick at the Atlanta Sewing Show? I hope to. Depends on, because it's part of our special this week. Depends on how much I have left over. I'll be ordering again. We're getting ready to leave for another show, and we'll be home for 4 days, and then we'll be going to the Atlanta show. If we are low, I'm going to try to get some more in if we are running low. But yes, we always carry the stabilizers with us. We always have the print and stick paper with us, but we're giving you a deal for this one. So we'll get to that. Any other questions, Tom, that you can find? All right. We're going to the special offer, apparently. Okay. So because it is National Sewing Month, we have 4 different sewing, quilting, embroidery related collections. You're seeing some of them behind, or actually all of them behind us. Each of those collections, we're giving you 15% off either a digital download or a CD. You do have to put in a code for this, and it's shirt 15, all uppercase, shirt 15. And you can see them listed there: Mylar Swirly Sewing, Mylar Chalkboard Art, Mylar Sew True, and Mylar Vintage Sewing. We are also giving you 15% off the Hydro Stick. It is a 15-inch wide by 5-yard roll. And then the print and stick target paper, 15% off that. There's 25 sheets in that. So that does go a long way for you. Now, we've made it easy for you. First of all, the special is only good, again, through Sunday midnight, February 15th. We put in one area these 4 collections, so you don't have to go hunting for them. So first of all, you're going to go to our homepage where you see Behind the Shine, and you're going to click on the box that says Details and Register here. When you click on that, it takes you to the landing page, and you're going to scroll down, and you're going to see a part where you're seeing the 15% off, reminding you what the coupon code is. And if you click here to purchase, it's going to take you to another page where you're going to see the designs. Scroll down there, you'll see the designs, all 4 of them there. You have the opportunity to get them in either a CD or a digital download. Still the 15% off using the Shirt 15 code. We've also put on there the Hydro Stick and the print and stick. So the prices you're seeing there are the regular prices, but you're going to be getting 15% off of those. That code, when you put items in your cart, in the cart in the lower left corner, you see the word coupon and apply. You're going to type Shirt 15, all uppercase, click apply, and you will see the effect of that in the cart automatically. Okay. And then when you are ready to pick up that free design, we are going to go through the same process, and just some ideas right here. We've already shown it to you, so voila, there it is. You are going to go to the home page again, Behind the Shine, Details Register here button, click it, takes you to the landing page. This time you're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and then you're going to see that design right there. Right there is the only place to download it. It's nowhere on the website, and it's only there until Sunday night at midnight. That's February 15th. After that date, it is completely gone. I mention that over and over and over because I get emails sometimes 2 weeks later. Where's the free design? It's gone. It's gone. You want to go ahead and get that. The free design is gone after midnight Sunday night. The replay disappears as well. If you want to watch the replay, you will be able to see it on YouTube, Facebook, and whatever link you got from StreamYard. And the coupon code no longer works after midnight Sunday night. So you want to take advantage of those. Hopefully y'all have picked up some tips, because I'm expecting at least one person out of all these people to show up in the booth wearing the shirt. Okay, so do that for me, please. All right, door prize time. We're going to give you a few minutes here, as long as you've made a comment in the comment section. And this is for the live only. Make a comment, hi, where I'm from, whatever. You're automatically entered in the giveaway. And our StreamYard process here is going to choose for us. It's a nifty little tool. So, Tom, okay, let's see. All right, it is still collecting entries. All right, type quickly, people. Keeps going up. Almost there. Again, if you want to see some of the steps that I went through again today, they are all in my Embroidering on Garments video slide. So a little slow down, more details. I did have someone email me and ask if I was going to show how to do a onesie. My video actually shows you about doing a onesie, but it's not much different than, actually it's not different at all compared to what we did with a shirt. You're trying to put a large hoop in a small garment. So you're going to see the videos on doing those as well. And I think I don't see it going up anymore. All right, let's do the drawing. Now, whoever wins, you're winning whatever collection you want as a digital download. So Connie Gleason, woohoo! Connie, you have won. Again, you get to pick whatever collection you want. I'm going to email you, and then I want you to reply to the email which collection you've selected, and I'll send you a link for the digital download for that collection. So again, our special is one of the 4 sewing collections, or all of them, whatever you feel the need to do. Let's see if we get it right. The vintage sewing is part of what you're seeing here. I've got, bring me back, there we go. Chalkboard art, there's some of them right there. Swirly sewing, that I made a stabilizer holder out of. That is a free design on my website. If you go to Myler Swirly Sewing and scroll down, you can print that out. Each one of these is a pocket for your stabilizers, your hydro stick. This is also swirly sewing. And then we have Sew True, where you've got the running stitch designs and the ones with Mylar in them. So that's all 4 of them. And then hydro stick, tearaway, and then our print and stick. All those 15% off using the code SHIRT15. All right, did I cover everything? Oh, if you want to see where we're going to be, there's our list on our show and events section of our website. Each one is going to tell you the venue, the dates, all that good information about it, what our booth number is for that. This is a short year for us, so that we can be home creating new collections for y'all. So those are the dates that those are the locations that we're going to be at. So check those out. Again, you are going to, the discount, the free design, the replay, Sunday night. So get it done before then. All right. Doesn't take long to do the quick little downloads. And again, we, with our travel, even though we are traveling, we're still going to be trying to do a behind the shine every month. So look out for that. And, you know, we're trying to teach some things along the way, and hopefully, you learned something today. Again, sorry about the little rough start that we had going through this, but you can rewatch this, or you can or look at our garment videos to get some slower, detailed information on how to do t-shirts, and again, onesies if you wanted to do that, or a kid size shirt. All right, let's see. Are we limited in quantity of product with the code? Like, can we buy multiple of the hydro stick? Absolutely, yes. Yes. It's not a one-time thing. And multiples of the hydro stick, multiples of the print and stick. Love this stuff. Again, if you choose to get this, you're going to see that web address to pick up that free software that enables you to print out your templates. So if you don't have software, again, that's the only reason I would use that. Don't save over your format. If you send, you know, I've got a problem with this design, and we usually narrow it down to being oversaved. I will tell you to go back to the original download you did if you did a digital download, or go back to the CD and pull the design as you've received it from us. But it's great to have. I always print out templates. Maybe you're doing the center and doing a center medallion and a quilt or tabletop or that kind of thing. And also in that garment video, you're going to see I'm doing a jacket, and you're going to see how I really use the templates on those. All right. Are we good, Tom? All right. Trying to see if I said everything. So again, you're going to come in the booth and go, look what I've done. Don't be afraid. And if it completely screws up, you are still learning. Okay. You're still learning. So Tom's telling me to wrap it up. So thank you again for checking us out, watching the video, and we will see you at one of the shows. And definitely we will see you next month's going to be exciting. Not going to tell you about it, but it's going to be exciting. All right. So thank you, and y'all have a good day.